do ideas just kind of shoot at the page, if you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not diarrhea, man. Calm down.
welcome to episode 15 of the Idiot's Odyssey. I'm Fergal O'Connor.
And I'm Eoin Murphy.
And here are your headlines.
These days, almost every film has to be a franchise, and every franchise gets a spin-off. And X-Men is no different. New Mutants is a thing. David Lynch is not working on Twin Peaks with Showtime. We have another load of Marvel shite, and we give a review of Mad Max Fury Road.
So, Fox are after finding a new kind of stash of mutants that Marvel had, I don't know, possibly down the back of their couch or something. They are going to be making an X-Men film called The New Mutants, based on the comic of the same name.
But is it just going to be called X-Men? Is it going to be called New Mutants, or is it going to be called X-Men New Mutants? I think it is called New Mutants.
I think it'll be called The New Mutants. I don't think anybody's really gotten into too much detail on that yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing like.
Although I think they're probably looking to work on the goodwill that the X-Men name has kind of earned them ever since they stopped hiring Brett Ratner. But the director choice is kind of a weird one for this, and it's kind of the most interesting part of the story because they're hiring Josh Boone.
Yeah, who's basically just done like rom-com? He's
done The Fault in Our Stars, which I don't even know if it was a rom-com. I
don't think it was either.
I think it was supposed to be like The Notebook with integrity. It was a week.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah. It was I think it was about a sick girl and a guy falls in love with her, something along those lines.
Isn't he sick as well? I can't remember now.
Maybe.
I haven't actually watched it.
Yeah, neither have I. So it's a really weird, interesting choice, I guess.
Yeah, it's a strange choice for an X-Men film, but at the same, it's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice for an action film, right? But the thing is that the New Mutants are like younger people.
Yeah.
It's a good choice for that, like.
Yeah, I guess
because of the obviously what he would have worked with before.
Yeah, he's shown he can work with teen actors, and weepy storylines. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the one where all the X-Men end up dead in a pile at last.
Maybe, except for the fact that there was no emotional attachment to them yet. Although at the same time, it could, of course, after the end of the New Mutants finish themselves up or whatever, it could, of course, lead open to the the rumored X-Force film that's been rumored for years.
Yeah.
You never know, like, how these will work out.
Well, isn't X-Force supposed to be a bit more militaristic?
Yeah, well, depending on the events of what happened with the whole New Mutants thing.
Because I'm not thinking about it now. I think they tried going over some of that territory with the first Wolverine film, the one that I try to pretend doesn't exist.
Go on.
Exactly. That was very much their military X-Men film. The kind of the tough kill everyone film. It was also a horrible film, but I feel like
the start of that was okay. The Parrot when he's in that team is actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
it's okay. It's the most bearable part of that film. And that is an unbearable film.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. There mistakes were made, many, many mistakes. But
would we be more convinced by New Mutants from the start, or do you think, or what? Would you be more hopeful about New Mutants?
I mean, we definitely are, because it's a much different premise. I feel like that's the reason we're not getting X-Force is because that Wolverine film went over so poorly. Because I think that was their first attempt at like a more militaristic, hard-edged X-Men film.
I still think that they could eventually do an X-Force film, and I was disappointed that wasn't the announcement that was made. But you never know, like,
Yeah, well, there is the whole kind of down with the kids factor as well,
Yes.
Where the teen audience is fucking huge. I mean, like goddamn Twilight and the Hunger Games, and
I really hope it doesn't go that way. I hope it doesn't still lean more towards X-Men stuff.
Well, they are hiring the director who did The Fault in Our Stars.
I'm very much aware of all this.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I think about this, the more I'm nervous about it.
Thank you, Fergal. You reassured me completely. David Lynch has now confirmed that he's returning to Showtime to get his hands back with Twin Peaks. He said on Twitter, and I quote him: "Dear Twitter friends, the rumors are not what they seem. It is happening. Twin Peaks returns on Showtime Network."
Yeah.
Of course, he actually says this actually strangely because he actually puts the exclamation marks after the "is," so it actually says something more like "it is happening again."
Just so we can remind you, David Lynch sometimes writes for a living. Also, he started these rumors.
Yeah, the thing is, he said just in April, so about just at the start of last month, he said, "This weekend I started to call actors to let them know I will not be directing. Twin Peaks may still very much alive at Showtime."
Yeah, so
and so now he's calling his own tweets and his own statements rumors. So that's that's David Lynch.
Yeah, fortunately, I never thought David Lynch was sane before this. So I don't know. He hasn't directed anything of any consequence in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
So I
suppose
hope he still got it.
I suppose with some of these weird kind of stuff he comes up with, it takes a while for them to bubble around his head.
See, that's the thing. I mean, does a David Lynch film bubble around in his head?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do ideas just kind of shoot at the page? If you know what I'm saying, like
it's not diarrhea, man. Calm down. Also, there has been word that there will be more episodes than the original 9, as previously outlined. Apparently.
Yeah. So more Twin Peaks, more Colin McLaughlin.
Yeah, apparently this, for all we know, this might have been the thing that turned him from not directing to directing.
What might have been the thing that changed?
More episodes, and more,
maybe
the more money.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, more money. I mean, the thing that he was complaining about originally was that they weren't getting the money to do the script the way he felt it deserved.
Yeah, which might have been budget or might have been his own pocket. We don't know.
Yeah, happy days for Twin Peaks fans, basically.
Exactly.
So, moving on from a fresh, original piece of news to this week's Marvel info dump. First off, Ava DuVernay is in talks to direct a Marvel superhero film. Now, they're not telling us which one, but it looks like it's either going to be Captain Marvel or Black Panther.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's she directed before?
The big one, Selma.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense then for those rumours.
Yeah, because Selma was pretty awesome as well. I mean, it's again Marvel just bringing
exactly
in
what
this.
I meant.
Yeah, that's exactly what Owen meant. There was nothing in there to be regarded as questionable at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Selma was just an awesome drama, and this is Marvel again just bringing in a director who doesn't necessarily have the action experience, but does have the experience in giving something impact dramatically.
Politically, I suppose she'd have the experience there as well. In terms of her the politics within the films, like.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a solid directing choice, and it's Marvel finally bringing in a woman to the directing chair as well after things didn't work out with Patty Jenkins on Thor: The Dark World.
I am a little concerned. Is that are they just hiring a woman for the sake of hiring a woman, or do you think this is like?
Look, if they're
has she got the credits?
Well, look, even if they were hiring a woman for the sake of hiring a woman, they've hired an awesome woman.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it doesn't matter either way. So that's good news. Moving on to it's nothing but good news this evening, really. Marvel have confirmed that Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who wrote Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which was probably the best scripted Marvel film, are going to be writing both parts of Avengers: Infinity War.
This would be more of a surprise if they weren't, to be honest.
Yeah, but basically get pumped because
those who make money together stay together.
Yeah, and those who write fucking awesome films together stay together as well, because Winter Soldier was pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're 2 for 2 on good news, and I guess the good news train had to end eventually. Asa Butterfield is Marvel's new Spider-Man. We talked about the kid with the supremely punchable face last week.
These rumours are very, like, they seem very sure of themselves. Is the kind of thing.
It's come from a source that's been pretty reliable in the past. The Latino Review.
I think it was popping up all other places, wasn't it?
But Latino Review, I think, was the original source.
Yes.
Now, this means he beats out Tom Holland, who was my horse in the race.
Yeah, he would have been. I think he would have been pretty fitting as well. Whereas, like we had previously said, Butterfield has aspects that make me consider otherwise.
Yeah, although to be fair, this is a pretty irrational hatred of the guy. We haven't seen the guy act.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be the next Edward Norton or Daniel Day-Lewis. But
I remain skeptical.
Yeah,
I'm not skeptical about his actual acting ability. I'm skeptical about other stuff.
I hate bullying, but maybe I'm looking a tiny bit forward to the bullying scenes in this one. So that's the Marvel news this week.
We have a new name and release date for the next Planet of the Apes film. It's going to be called War of the Planet of the Apes. And it'll be released on the 14th of July 2017. It's still going to be directed by Matt Reeves, and I'd say this is a case if it does exactly what it says in the tin. War of the Planet of the Apes, obviously the war of the apes versus humans.
Yeah,
that was highly indicated at the end of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's exactly like the way Dawn of the Planet of the Apes actually happened all in the morning. It happened one eventful morning. It's just they cooked breakfast, they had bananas with the apes. They took their morning constitutional. I don't know. I mean, they still have the same director. They're
on the right road.
They're working on the same ground. Kid done good on the last film. Hopefully, he'll do good on this film. There's not that much more to say beyond that.
I mean, it's like this is exactly what we expected to happen. This kind of a name. Although I am glad that they didn't actually go for Noon, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that'd be ridiculous. Like High Noon of the Planet of the Apes. It's just like bring Clint Eastwood in. Get off me, you damn dirty apes.
Okay.
Actually, I really want to see that film now.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has confirmed that he will appear in Furious 8, which is due to be released on the 14th of April 2017. He's also said that he has spoken to the studio about a possible Hobbs solo film, and apparently they would be up for that.
Yeah, this is Hobbs, the Fast and Furious character, not Hobbs, the tiger from Calvin and Hobbes.
It was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson talking about it. Of course, it was his character.
Well, just in case, he did do the Tooth Fairy.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, this is more Rock.
That's always good. That's always good news, because let's face it, he probably had two of the best lines in Fury 7.
Yeah, plus beyond that, it's the way he delivers the lines as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus the moment where there's a lot of awesome that man has yet to share.
He's just fantastic for those kind of roles, in terms of being the smart aleck action hero,
Yeah, he's a big old pile of badass. So prepare for another Harrison Ford reboot.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so Harrison Ford, let's see, Star Wars is being remade, Blade Runner is being remade, Indiana Jones being remade, and now
Jack Ryan has been remade. Rebooted.
Jack Ryan has been rebooted
successfully.
Yep, and now they're going after The Fugitive.
Excellent. He's got a great track record of getting his films remade.
Yeah, I guess it does highlight how many classics Harrison Ford has been in.
Yeah.
But I'd be more cynical about this, except for the fact that they brought back Arnold and Ann Copelson, who were the producers for the original.
Okay, that's good at least, isn't it?
Yeah, so they've got the gang back together slightly. So, it does seem like there's a certain amount of good intent behind this, maybe.
Any news on who will play Kimball?
Nothing yet. The hopes to be in production by early 2016. So right now they've just attached producers. I think that they have a script in development. And I guess once the script's been written, they're probably going to look to attach talent.
Yeah, that would make sense, I suppose.
But all hope isn't lost, because we still have some original material coming out as well.
Whoa!
Yeah. Natalie Portman may be starring in apocalyptic horror film Annihilation from the director of Ex Machina, Alex Garland.
Very nice.
Yeah. Garland, he wrote 28 Days Later and Dread. He directed Ex Machina. He's got a really solid sci-fi pedigree. And now he's shopping around his script Annihilation, which concerns a biologist who ventures into no man's land called Area X in an attempt to find her missing husband. While in Area X, she has to deal with dangerous contamination, the disappearance of teammates, and a deadly animal known as the Crawler. Garland, he's probably going to be directing, and Natalie Portman's in negotiations for the role. A lot of solid talent attached to this. I don't really see any reason to be excited about the premise yet. I mean...
the premise hasn't really been outlined, really. It's an initial idea, but they haven't really developed the plot yet.
Yeah, we know that she's going into Area X, and that is about it, really. I assume there is some conceit behind this beyond that, some reason to get engaged with the film. But Garland's a damn good writer, and I trust him to inject something.
And of course, Natalie Portman can deliver, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all Princess Amidala, Star Wars, George Lucas bullshit with her.
The cast of Star Wars Rogue One continues to grow, as Diego Luna apparently is in talks to join Rogue One. Diego Luna has already appeared in Milk, Elysium, and will apparently be appearing in Bloodfather alongside Mel Gibson coming out this year.
Yep. So Mel Gibson is going to be in a film with a Mexican dude.
Yeah, apparently.
Yep. So apparently Mel Gibson is saner than we thought.
Or maybe he's just insane just to try this.
Maybe they just give Mel Gibson like a pair of like tinted lenses, so that he can't tell who's not white.
That might work.
It's like the only way you can control him.
His appearance in Milk, he was basically one of Harvey Milk's partners for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. He's apparently he's in talks to play one of the Rebel fighter pilots in Rogue One when they're trying to get their hands on the
Death Star plans.
Death Star plans, exactly. It's scheduled to be released on the 16th of December 2016.
And in more news about film franchises that will not just fucking die, please God.
Nope.
Eddie Redmayne might be starring in the next Harry Potter spin-off film, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Apparently Warner Brothers have made a hard offer to Redmayne. And the film either way, it's going to be released in the fall of 2016, so it's going to be starting production quite soon.
You mentioned so, yeah.
Yeah. And David Yates is going to be directing, so that's the guy who directed the last 4 Harry Potter films.
That's interesting that they're going to. I suppose they'll continue with the same kind of angle of it, like, yeah.
Yeah, the same sort of. I guess they're perfectly happy with mediocrity.
Well, to be fair, you can't really say that when they just hired a guy who won an Oscar.
Yeah, they just.
Or they're trying to hire a guy who won an Oscar, I suppose.
I don't know. I mean, like, they had one of the Fiends playing Voldemort. I mean, they had perfectly good actors, and they had Rickman, they had Harris, they had Gambon.
So how are you saying mediocre then?
Because somehow the films were still mediocre with all that talent. I mean, nothing excited me about those Harry Potter films, basically.
You didn't want to see them brought to life after reading the books, no?
I would have loved to see them brought to life. I just didn't want to see them brought to life as a complete fucking hack job.
They didn't live up to it, is what you think? Yeah.
They were directed as a sort of it was a nightmare comic book adaptation, basically, where they just let the nerds direct the thing fully. It's like they just they want to hit the points that people want to see in the books, and that's about it. I feel like beyond that, it was very phoned in. Like they didn't work as films at all. They were absolutely always thinking about the fact that it was going to be stretched across 7 films. And they didn't need to fix things this time. It was
Yeah, okay, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah, Fergal no like Harry Potter.
Because this is a one-off film, right?
Yeah.
I assume. Do you think that because of that there isn't a stretching it over 7 films that they will try and be tighter with it?
I think so if they were bringing on a new director. But David Yates started in TV, so I mean TV.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, like.
It wouldn't be, except think about the attitude that it creates in someone. It's
yes.
like we're all we need to do is make this episode good enough. It's very much about get this thing in the can and move fucking on. And I mean, I wish they'd bring in someone new. I wish they'd bring in someone who like knew what they were doing, because I think that sums up my feelings. I'm not going to rant no more.
I think we'll say yay to Eddie Redmayne, but nay to Yates.
Absolutely. Although would also suffice. So for those who are fans of not having to watch kids' films that are fucking frozen for the millionth time, you might have something to break that up soon. Brad Bird says The Incredibles 2 is going to be his next film.
Yeah, this is very good news, isn't it? Because a lot of people have been wanting Incredibles 2 since The Incredibles
1. Yeah.
People aren't complicated, like.
Yeah, apparently people love that film. I still haven't seen that, but Brad Bird did do The Iron Giant, which is and Ratatouille actually, which are 2 of my favourite kids' films ever. Mm-hmm. Which is a bloody good reason to be looking forward to The Incredibles 2, or maybe even getting around to catching up on The Incredibles 1.
Yeah, I think The Incredibles was actually like a very good superhero film as well as being a good animated film.
Yeah, it's like most kids' films are garbage. So, I mean, when something comes along that, like, it doesn't feel cynical and maybe it brings you back to, like, your inner... you get to play with your inner child for a bit or something. Yeah, this is good news.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, approved. The internet is abuzz with leaked photos of the Suicide Squad. That's pretty much it. There's also been some videos of basically the Joker walking.
Walking.
What? Well, his hair is basically fluorescent green and his skin is white, and I don't know. Like you trust the director and you trust the actor playing it, so you got to give some kind of like fucking let him at it. Like,
I'm very hesitant to condemn a film on the basis of set photos. Plus, I mean, it shows that they're going in a different direction with the Joker than the traditional. Which,
there are a few interpretations, but yeah, I see what you mean. Like,
yeah, it's like, why the hell would we want to see the same old suit?
I don't really have any problem with what he's wearing. To be honest, I don't have any problem with any of it. To be honest.
Yeah, so
but it's interesting to see it in a.
Yeah, I mean, there is video out there if you care to look of Leto actually moving as a Joker, and I mean, he's very sort of like he's like a slow motion boxer, kind of dancing around people. Which, I think it looked awful from the angle that I saw that, but that was because it was amateur footage. I think it's actually going to look much better on camera.
I guess we'll figure out when it...
on professional camera. It already was on camera, obviously. That's it. This is set photos. I don't think there's any way to really judge them either way. But the internet has pissed itself.
Yeah, the thing is, it's going to be hard to judge a film when you're looking at it from like a person who's not directly on set. They're not supposed to be... It's not going to be taken from the angle that they're taking it from.
Yeah. I mean, there's always one perfect place for the camera to be in any scene, as I've forgotten who the originator of that quote was. You know, this amateur footage is definitely not for the place where the camera's supposed to fucking be.
No, it's pretty much across the road, isn't it? Like,
yeah, It's like
through a hedge and stuff.
Yeah, it's like someone perving on Jared Leto or Margot Robbie, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But still, though, we'll put the links on the website.
Yeah, if you want to get your perv on.
Yeah, in the show notes.
Well, it turns out that Annihilation is not the only thing that Alex Garland is going to have his name on soon.
Nice.
Yeah. For fans of 28 Days Later, and people who might have liked 28 Weeks Later for some reason, 28 Months Later film is a little closer to becoming a reality.
This is a thing that's been rumoured for years, isn't it? I mean...
Yeah. But I mean, right now, Andrew MacDonald, who's kind of a regular producer for Danny Boyle, is working on a treatment that Alex Garland wrote for the script.
Now, people could be forgiven for being mistaken for believing that Danny Boyle is set to direct it, but apparently he's not.
Yeah, no director attached, no actors attached, no release date, but there is a treatment somewhere out there and it is being worked on. So
interesting.
This is the first piece of news that's surfaced in a while on that.
Yeah,
so
apparently it's a thing that could be very much be on the radar soon.
Yeah, and it's nice to see. 28 Days Later is definitely one of the better zombie films that was ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice to see it get a proper sequel, because 28 Weeks Later I didn't particularly rate.
Yeah, it was...
It had what I call the kid problem, in that they let kids in the fucking film.
That's the entire kid's problem, lads. If there's a kid in it, Fergal doesn't like it at all.
Yeah, it's very rarely that a child actor will not screw up a film.
Yeah, you're not going to hear any complaints about that from me. Like, I mean, it does tend to... Sometimes the child actor will work with it, but sometimes it just doesn't.
Yeah, kids, goddamn it, kids. But hopefully they have learned from that, and 28 months later, or years later, or whatever they decide to call this, will be... it'll have actors who actually know what the hell they're doing.
Hopefully.
Please, zombie god.
Well, it's... Hopefully, anyway, with Garland returning in terms of... At least he wrote the actual concept idea.
Yeah, this is good news. This is a positive thing.
Okay. The Spielberg directed BFG will begin filming in the Faroe Islands in July this year. It's already got a release date of summer 2016, so that's news, isn't it?
Yeah, thank Christ they have... Well, I've seen Indiana Jones, okay, he can screw up, but at least they have a proper director on this.
Like, he's... Like, to say Steven Spielberg is a solid director would be completely getting it wrong. He's spectacular, you know?
Yeah, he's very good at the sort of sentiment required
exactly, yeah.
for a Roald Dahl adaptation.
Yeah, it's perfect, really, in terms of directing pick. But also, a fun little thing to note is that the BFG is technically the first Spielberg film that's ever been produced by Disney. So it's the one and only, you know.
Yeah, for now. So hopefully that turns out okay, because if they ruin the BFG, bad things will happen.
Yeah. So filming in Faroe Islands and a release date of summer 2016. Dave Erickson, the showrunner for the Walking Dead spin-off, which has recently been titled Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah, get over your disappointment. Has spoken about the setting for the show, as well as the actual zombies. The setting will be, which we've already knew was set in Los Angeles, because that's where everyone is. And it's set around the time that Rick was in his coma, so it's basically the very start of the actual zombie apocalypse. So it's interesting. It's something we've always wanted to see, but it'll be interesting to see how they pull it off, considering the actual amount of people they'd have to have around the place and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
As well as the fact that because it's taking place earlier, the zombies will be, in quote, fresher, end quote, you know?
Yeah.
Because basically they haven't rotted as much because it's so early into it.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, this is more of a kind of a slow transition into the world
into the regular of the Walking Dead,
yeah. Which is if you think about it, in the history of zombie films, there's been this history of sort of like 28 Days Later. Guy wakes up, suddenly zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
The Dawn of the Dead remake, car crash, suddenly zombie apocalypse. There's a tradition of people kind of waking up and it's already happened. So because there's a period in there, the kind of slow descent of civilization into Zombieville Central, that if you're making a horror film, that particular...
You usually skip it because it's exposition, you know?
Well, it's not even exposition, it's just tonally unusual for a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and it deals with issues that you don't want to deal with. Plus, once the zombies are there, your characters are locked down to a few locations, which makes the horror film cheaper to film, which is obviously kind of important because horror films are low budget anyway. There's a whole bunch of reasons for it, but basically, this is a sort of a space that...
It makes it more claustrophobic if you do it at the start. If you kind of have them straight into it at the start, it makes it more claustrophobic from the start.
Yeah, plus your zombies are gone full zombie. I mean, you're in the fear zone. This isn't a point where humanity is in control at all points. The zombies are winning, and you're fighting against an unstoppable tide, as opposed to there being some hope there.
But the thing is, in this, it is very much a case of that all of that is the reverse, you know?
Yeah.
That all these things are in place. Now, he actually did say that while they're never say never, there wasn't much chance of like a crossover between Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead. Also, he did mention how they just used the title Fear the Walking Dead so that people knew it was the same world, basically.
Yeah, which I can't think of anything better off the top of my head. Although The Walking Dead : Fear seems
maybe
better.
Hell, to be honest, I wouldn't have been too badly off if they just left it as the original kind of name that they were using as a placeholder of Cobalt. Anything better, like, you know.
Yeah, but then it's like Cobalt. It's as cool as it is. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Although for a name that cool, you could probably tie it in somewhere.
Either way, this is news, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in it just because it is a new approach.
Are you actually going to watch it then?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. We'll let you know.
So, good news. Brett Ratner is making one last film. Hopefully. Beverly Hills Cop 4 has dropped off release schedules.
I didn't even know Brett Ratner was attached to direct that one.
I don't know if he was attached to direct, but his greasy paws were somewhere on the film.
Oh, yes, you can see the smudge in the ink.
Yeah, it was actually going to be in the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice release window in March 25th, 2016.
Yeah, it was going to get its ass kicked.
Yeah, it was going to get stopped.
Like, the thing is that the Beverly Hills Cops have gone like on a steady or alarming like declining quality, weren't they?
Yeah, they're 1 and 2 fine, especially 1. 1's fantastic. Then 3, less said about 3 the better, and 4, even though chances are it might go into development hell, please development devil. But it had Brett Ratner attached.
Didn't Eddie Murphy say some things about it?
Eddie Murphy said, I'm really wondering, did Eddie Murphy actually say this? Was he drinking? It's Eddie Murphy. They're still trying to get that script right. I'm not doing a Beverly Hills Cop unless they have a really incredible script. I've read a couple of things that look like they can make some paper, but I'm not doing a shitty movie just to make some paper. That shit got to be right. Eddie Murphy, I'm not doing a shitty movie just to make some paper.
Wasn't he in Norbit?
He's been in an awful lot of crap.
It's the Tower Heist. So, like, how bad was this film that he said that it was bad?
Well, it's like Adam Sandler saying that. I mean, was he? Did he have to stop every 2 seconds to giggle quietly to himself when he was saying this?
Yeah.
Was he sitting on a gold throne at the time? There's one less Brett Ratner film in the world, people. Let's all be happy for that. Let's hope that Eddie Murphy regains his sanity, and let's move on to the next story before this infects me with even more cynicism than I already bloody have.
He already has too much of it, lads.
So the next Kevin Smith film, Mallrats, now officially has a title, and I'm going to have to pronounce this one very clearly, just so you know there's not, just so you know exactly what it is. Mallrats. That's not going to be confusing at all. Yeah, so we've been through the other relevant details of this. They're still destroying a shopping mall. Still got Michael Rooker and Jason Lee and Shannon Doherty,
etc.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Hopefully Kevin Smith can turn it all around. And that's all that came out for this week. Mallrats, you're welcome.
And now we'll start talking about a film, a trailer for a film that Fergal's a lot more excited about than I am.
Magic Mike XXL had an awesome trailer this week.
It was pretty a pretty impressive trailer, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those times where I was watching a trailer and it's like, Jesus Christ, I wish I was gay, because I'm only getting half the entertainment out of this.
I don't know if I should cut that part.
No, don't leave it in.
Okay, yeah.
There's Joe Manganiello like using a water bottle as his dick, and Channing Tatum using his steel table leg as his dick. Basically, there are a lot of fake cocks running around.
Yeah, because otherwise it would have a different rating, this film, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's like Channing Tatum. I am still incredibly jealous of that guy's dance moves. It looks like it's got the kind of knowing humour of the original, which was really important in making it less. It does work for the 50 Shades crowd, but it also worked as a film. So I feel like if they can hit that space again, I'm really excited to see this. So you can see if Magic Mike XXL will hit the spot on July 1st.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Time is a flat circle. If you got just a little excited hearing that line or remembering True Detective Season 1, then we've got the trailer for you. The True Detective Season 2 trailer just dropped, and it's hard to really extrapolate what the season's going to be like just based on that 2 minutes you get. But it's gonna, if it's anything like the trailer, then it's going to be awesome. It's just everyone looks the part. Rachel McAdams has her hair cut up like really military style, like Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn are just everyone looks the part. Like I see no reason yet to believe they fucked things up. We know now that they have an amazing writer behind them, and I'm still hugely excited for season 2.
So you're still not concerned that the combination of Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn will manage to fuck it up?
No, I mean, like, if they were going to fuck it up, I think they would have gotten kicked off the project so fast their head would spin. I mean, True Detective worked because it was sort of a prestige thing. I mean, if you're going to start throwing random movie stars in there, you're going to end up in Adam Sandler territory where no one goes to see your shit.
Fair enough.
Or, well, sits down on their couch to see your shit. But, yeah, Season 2 drops June 21st on HBO, or whatever your local channel of choice is.
Or however you want to pirate it.
Which we would never do.
Yes, of course. Never do that.
Piracy's bad. Okay. And the trailer for Anne Hathaway and Robert De Niro's new film, The Intern, dropped this week. And I'm only saying this because I really wish the film had been called Paycheck, because that is the only possible reason that anyone would show up in this film. That
good, is it?
Yeah, The Intern releases on Who the Fuck Cares, and let's move away from this bullshit.
Lovely. Now, I will be putting a link to the trailer in the show notes, but Fergal is warned not to watch it. But it'll be there.
And moving on to the last piece of film news that just makes me die a little inside. 9 Lives, starring Kevin Spacey as the family cat, has a release date. It releases April 29th next year, and no, take it away. Just make it stop. I don't understand how Oscar winner Kevin Spacey is involved in this thing.
Money, man.
And yeah, let's move on to Mad Max. That'll cheer me up.
A film that's been in development hell for more than 20 years, and it just shows you why you don't give up on the films that are in development hell always, you know?
Yeah.
'Cause Mad Max was just fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, awesome. Are there any other good words we haven't used? Awesome, unreal, total class act all around.
Well, you didn't use it. You probably didn't use it enough in the last episodes, but dense.
Yeah, dense. Mad Max is the most boner-tastic film I've seen this year.
It's just so raw action. I mean, the start of it is cool, and it's like the start of it is kind of cool as well, you know.
Yeah,
and like everything is brilliant, like, you know.
Yeah, it's. I thought I had seen an action film before. I had not. I had seen films with action in them. Mad Max is an actual action film.
Yeah, there's a ferocious amount of just brilliant of like. It's basically one big car chase the entire film.
Essentially, yeah.
And it's what it should be, and it's like what a lot of people I think felt was missing from Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's a kind of a marriage of that old school Mad Max aesthetic with that kind of practical effects. Let's make sure that the audience really feels like they're in the seat, or that the camera is inches away from someone about to get fucked up. And that was married to the kind of new technology that enables Miller to do things that not only that he hadn't done before, but things that I don't think anyone had done before.
I think this is it's probably the best film that I've seen in 3D.
Yeah,
keep in mind I didn't see Avatar in 3D, but this was just brilliant for its 3D. And I think actually George Miller actually went and said that if he had the choice, he would watch it in 3D.
Yeah, definitely. This was 3D done right. I mean, what else is there? Tom Hardy as Mad Max. His performance is fantastic. Charlize Theron.
It is her film, really.
Yeah, but I gotta say, for Tom Hardy doesn't say much, but a few sentences that he does get in the film. The way he delivers them, he really feels like a man who hasn't talked in a long, long time. Yeah, and I really love that bit of the way he designed his performance.
He did get Mel Gibson's Australian accent spot on, innit?
Yeah.
Oh, also, what I think is important to note is that it was also had great music in it. But it was also more than just having great action and stuff. It actually was a very beautiful looking film.
Yeah, I mean, it really paid off actually going out into the desert to shoot this thing. I mean, they got all these in the background. They had all these wide angles of these kind of barren, I suppose, desert scapes. Like everything just felt. It really felt post-apocalyptic. There was never any feeling that CGI.
At the same time, it also felt there was. I think he deliberately went out of his way to make it colourful rather than the dull kind of thing you'd associate with post-apocalyptic lands.
Yeah, there was definitely it was strange. It was almost. You know what it makes me think of? Actually, it makes me think of the Joker. The way the aesthetic was designed, that kind of over the top, everyone designed by crazies, that kind of violent and completely insane aesthetic.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Plus, if you haven't seen the trailer, you won't know this, but so this may count as a spoiler. There is a guy with a flamethrower guitar. I think that kind of sums up the whole film.
I'm not sure if he was in the trailers.
He definitely was.
It's not a really major spoiler, but it's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, this best film I've seen this year so far.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Yeah, hands down. It's 2 hours of just being strapped. Everything's so brilliant.
The thing is, we said that the trailers were balls to the wall stuff.
Yeah.
The film does not disappoint.
Yeah, the film, it keeps up that pedal to the metal feel of the trailer. I mean, there are a few moments where the film slows down, but
you need to slow down because you need to take a freaking breath.
Yeah, just have an energy drink or make sure you got some caffeine and you're watching it because it's almost exhausting. There is an enormous amount to take in. It's the sort of film that it will reward closer watching. It's not just in the action. It's in a way that so much of the story is told through the production design. I mean, so much is told visually. There's so little exposition.
There is very little needed with the way it's set up, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's all visual exposition that we're getting. It's all... there is never exposition just for the sake of exposition in a boring way.
What's interesting, and despite the lack of exposition, or no need for exposition, whatever, yet they still didn't give just a generic bad guy. They gave like detailed and realistic bad guys.
Exactly. Yeah. So many details are given to us without giving them to us in like a traditional boring Hollywood way.
Yeah.
No scene ever feels like exposition is its sole goal. At all points, we are being shown something fucking awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mad Max, 9 out of 10.
Mad Max,
mind blown.
Right, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Okay.
Yep.
This has been the Idiot's Odyssey, episode 15. I've been Owen Murphy. You can find me on Twitter at OwenM1990.
And I'm Fergal O'Connor. You can find me on Twitter at Interspammer.
And you can find the show on both Facebook and Twitter at Idiot's Odyssey. And you can also email us at idiotsodysseypodcast@gmail.com.
Yep, and you can find our website at idiotsodyssey.com.
And thanks for listening.